Hello, Silo citizens. Welcome to the Silo Season 1 Episode 9 Ending Explained. We have so much to discuss from this shocking jam-packed episode, from Juliette finally gaining access to the hard drive, to Sims and his wife's secret plans, to Billings potentially becoming a Flamekeeper. Stay tuned, subscribe to join the club, and, fair warning, spoilers ahead. Let's dive in. We pick up right where we left off from the previous episode's cliffhanger, and we see Juliette's fate. She has survived by landing on one of the connecting bridges from the staircase to the living quarters. Although she narrowly escapes cleaning, we're left with time-sensitive and important questions. How long can she evade capture from the judicial and the raiders? And what will she do now that she has the hard drive? Throughout the episode, it becomes clear that Juliette's knowledge of the cameras help her to escape the watchful eye of the judicial and the watchers. Cunning and clever as always, Juliette goes to the one place Sims and Bernard may not think to look: Sims' apartment. There she holds Sims's wife and son hostage as she uses his computer to access the hard drive, which is one of the few computers in the silo that has the clearance level to do so. The pair have a back and forth conversation regarding the trauma that the judicial and their overreach of power causes, but the irony is that this home invasion mirrors Juliette's from when she was a child. We even see glimpses of this paralleled in shots such as Sims's son peeking through the door as Juliette rummages through their home. Eventually, Juliette gains access to the hard drive and uses Holston's wife's notes to enter a code to view its files and content. Upon first glance, there are an overwhelming amount of documents to sift through, but luckily a file named Start Here leads Juliette to a video of George introducing the contents of the drive. But, of course, things are never that easy, as Sims's wife, having been a raider in the past, uses her pick-locking skills to stealthily gain freedom in order to subdue Juliette. And I have to tell you, my nerves were wound tight during this sequence because Juliette is so incredibly close to learning what is stored away on that relic, but the loading process was taking an eternity. Meanwhile, Bernard and Sims are desperately searching the silo using the power of the judicial and the full force of the raiders. But how will they find one person in this labyrinth of 10,000 people? Bernard goes on to imply that Sims doesn't truly grasp what is at stake if the contents of that hard drive get out, and his mysterious token with the number 18 inscribed on the front begins glowing an ominous red light as Bernard becomes more and more agitated by the disastrous prospect of Juliette uncovering the truth. He turns to the last person she was in contact with, Lucas Kyle. He uses the full weight of the judicial and threatens potential consequences for not reporting Juliette's actions to squeeze Lucas of any pertinent information regarding the hard drive. Lucas, sensing the threat of being separated from his ailing mother, divulges that there is a single number inscribed on the hard drive, the number 18, similar to his token. Although we don't get an explicit explanation for why this is, I assume it is connected to Bernard's token, which symbolizes the power and information bestowed onto him for the founders before him. This indirectly connects the hard drive and its contents to the beginning of the silo's history. Anyway, Bernard, as heartless as ever, decides to lock Lucas up despite providing him with the information he was looking for. Panicked and determined to take Juliette down, Bernard commands the Watchers to track down hard drive 18 to see where it may be in use within the silo. As they search, Bernard chastises Sims for using judicial resources to protect his wife and kids as he put his personal needs before those of the silo, and dangles over his head, excluding Sims from becoming his shadow. However, the conversation is cut short as the Watchers triangulate the signal coming from Sims' apartment, which he immediately rushes toward. In a twist of events, Sims' wife, now freed, gives Juliette an ultimatum. Either she watches the video and dies due to the judicial having already tracked her location once she plugged in the hard drive, or she lives by immediately leaving her home. Of course, Juliette chooses to live and takes the mallet from Sims' home to destroy cameras and any trace of her escape along the way. She hides away in Patrick's apartment, who uses his connections to shady individuals and invites a hacker from IT to help in their cause. Juliette threatens to expose information on his illegal activity, courtesy of having worked in the sheriff's department, if he refuses to help. He begrudgingly accepts the offer, overrides the clearance level requirements to access the hard drive, and bounces the location signal to other apartments within the silo. This buys the three of them enough time to explore the thousands of files within the hard drive. Juliette, of course, goes back to the first file and continues to watch the introduction video from George. This scene absolutely warmed my heart because, although he admits to initially intending to use Juliette for her guidance and knowledge of the deep down levels and the generator, George actually fell in love with her. We get one of those rare but important moments of seeing Juliette's hard exterior begin to crack, as it becomes clear that her mission, which was initially rooted in avenging her lover's death, was not all in vain. She feels vindicated for loving him and continuing to fight for the truth. Bernard, having served as the head of IT, informs Sims that although the person who is bouncing the signal is good, he is better, and it is only a matter matter of time before he hunts them down. Back at Patrick's home, George's video ends with two important messages. The first being that there are 15-foot metal doors at the bottom of the water in the deep down levels that he insists is safe for Juliette to explore, and the second being proof of the outside world in the form of another file on the computer. Juliette, at the guidance of George, opens a file named Jane Carmody Cleaning, and the three of them see the truth about the outside world. The audio from the video confirms what we have all assumed by now. The screens are a lie, and the outside world is thriving with life. As the episode comes to a close, a flock of birds briefly fly across the sky, which curiously resemble the W-shaped pattern from Lucas's drawings of the lights on the screen. Could this be proof that this is the looped playback and altered footage shown on the screens in the cafeteria? Hopefully, that will be explored in the next episode. But before I get into my thoughts and theories, I have to discuss some other important plot points that took place concurrent to the cat and mouse hunt throughout the episode. Billings' authority is questioned by Sims at the top of the episode, and feeling as though he has something to prove, Billings decides to make up for his mistake. This is due to his feelings about being inadequate from having been affected by the symptoms of the syndrome and allowing Juliette to slip away. However, his journey takes an unexpected turn as he pries into Juliette's supposed reason for wanting to clean. After raiders declare Juliette's apartment a crime scene, Billings locks himself inside to search for any and all clues that would explain the chaos that recently unfolded around him. He finds hints of the judicial's deception when he sees the space where the mirror once was, similar to a shot from earlier in the episode, and notices a piece of two-way glass on the floor. Still not finding concrete evidence, Billings remembers the location of where he found the Pez dispenser relic in Trumbull's apartment, the medicine cabinet in the bathroom. It is here he finds the Georgia guidebook and learns the truth about the outside world, which rocks him to his core. Not knowing how to process this world-altering knowledge, he decides to burn the evidence of the outside world, but not without taking a page for himself. I believe this scene, and the symbolism of the fire, cements the fact that Billings has inadvertently become a Flamekeeper due to his knowledge of the truth. Will he become the key to swaying the Silo citizens to believe and support Juliette and the truth? I guess we will have to wait and see. But Billings may not be alone if he chooses to uncover the truth, because we learn another shocking bit of information. Sims and his wife seem to be planning something that requires Sims to gain Bernard's trust. This implies that they are against Bernard's actions, but need to act in alignment with his interests to secure more power and information. You see, it struck me as odd that Sims' wife saw the video of George Wilkins on the computer and didn't seem to flinch, while everyone else had more of a shocked reaction. Given her past as a raider and Sims' involvement with the shadow organization running the silo, I believe the two of them know the truth of the outside world and could be conspiring toward uncovering the truth as well. This leads me to some of my final thoughts and theories going into the finale episode. And now that Bernard sees Juliette as a threat to not only him, but the citizens of the silo, what will he do once he captures her? Well, I believe he'll use his expertise as the former head of IT to get past the false hard drive signals and track her down. But I think this will happen just as Juliette and her team find some of the most important pieces of information regarding the outside world cover-up. My hope is that they will preserve some of this information in case they are apprehended and have to give up the hard drive. But if they don't get captured, this will definitely cause a race toward the metal doors beneath the water. And if we are lucky, we will get to see the conclusion of the first season end with the reveal of what is on the other side. Although a select group of people might see the truth, it is a whole other story trying to lead a large group of people to follow and explore that truth with you, which I believe will be the main conflict and journey throughout season 2. That's all for episode 9 of Silo. Let me know your thoughts and theories below. Don't forget to subscribe and join the club. Thanks for watching.